Conservative former Minister Johnny Mercer said he spoke to the Duke of Sussex about the issue last night. Moving an amendment proposing the change, Mr Mercer told the House of Commons, "I speak to all sorts of people in the veterans community. Last night I had a conversation with Prince Harry about this. He has contributed hugely to the veterans debate and I wanted his view. He said to me it's not only morally right but would mean so much to those who have given so much, and it's not a political intervention, it is the moral purpose of this. It's an almost effortless change, as he said, for this government to make, for us to finally see through what we've said for these people for so long because we owe it to them. They're our brothers and sisters, they've served with us over many, many years." Mr Mercer, who is an army veteran, is pushing for the government to waive visa fees for foreign citizens who served in the military and want to remain in the UK. Visas for foreigners who served in UK armed forces currently cost £2,389. Mr Mercer has put forward the amendment to the Immigration and Borders Bill with Labour MP Dan Jarvis, who is also an army veteran. The Duke of Sussex spent 10 years in the army and served on the front line in Afghanistan. He also founded the Invictus Games for wounded and injured service members and veterans in 2014. Harry has spoken of how his life was shaped by his time in the army. However, he lost his honorary military titles after quitting royal duties with Meghan Markle. The Sussexes are starting new lives in California after stepping back as senior royals in March 2020. Harry marked Veterans Day in the US last month by meeting with service members and their partners at Joint Base McGuire Lakehurst in New Jersey with Meghan. And on the eve of Veterans Day, which is Armistice Day in the UK, the couple attended the 2021 Salute to Freedom Gala. Addressing veterans at the event, Harry said, "As we honour and reflect on Remembrance Day in the UK, which shares a date tomorrow with Veterans Day here in the US, my hope is for all of us to continue to support the well-being, and recognise the value of, our troops, veterans, and the entire military and service family. We and they are better for it. I served 10 years in the military, including 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, one as an FAC, forward air controller, on the ground and in the dust with some of you, another as an Apache helicopter pilot in the air supporting and talking with you. Nothing was more valuable than the time I got to spend with my soldiers in a shell scrape, eating an MRE meal, ready to eat, in the back of a tank, thanks for the swaps, flying a mission overhead knowing those below were safer, or making each other laugh when it was needed the most. My experience in the military made me who I am today, and I will always be grateful for the people I got to serve with wherever in the world we were." Harry's support for Mr Mercer's move comes after Meghan recently contacted US politicians to lobby for paid family leave. And the couple faced accusations they were interfering in American politics ahead of the presidential election last year. Harry urged US citizens to reject hate speech and cast their vote. William was publicly praised by the East Anglian Air Ambulance, EAA, for which the Duke of Cambridge worked between 2015 and 2017. The organisation wrote on Twitter, "ER would like to thank HRH the Duke of Cambridge for promoting the importance of speaking openly about mental health issues." A number of important initiatives were launched last week for emergency service workers to support mental health. The organisation also shared a statement on Sunday, in which they highlighted resources the ER provides to its staff and how the organisation continues to work with the Duke. It read, "ER continues to provide all of our staff with a range of support, customisable to their particular needs, to deal with the unique challenges faced by emergency service workers. Initiatives such as those announced by His Royal Highness and commitments made within our charity help to bring the vital and varied support needed to all staff as they carry out the roles of the emergency services. Discussing mental health and the impact it has on our lives gives strength to others." After the organisation noted it had attended the Royal Foundation TMS Mental Health Symposium hosted by the Duke of Cambridge, the statement read, "Thank you for your continued support of all emergency workers, Your Royal Highness. William launched the Blue Light Together initiative in late November, an agreement across all emergency services to follow a set of standards for supporting the mental well-being of frontline workers. At the event, the Duke could speak about his own personal experience when it comes to how demanding and stressful the job of emergency responders is, having worked as a member of the RAF Search and Rescue and at the East Anglia Air Ambulance. Speaking in front of 200 frontline workers, he said, "I often think about my time working for RAF Search and Rescue and the East Anglia Air Ambulance. I remember the pressure of attending calls in the most stressful conditions, sometimes with tragic conclusions. I remember the sense of solidarity with my team, pulling together to do the best we could and sharing the weight of responsibility. I also remember returning home with the stresses and strains of the day weighing on my mind, and wanting to avoid burdening my family with what I had seen." William also opened up about working as a helicopter pilot in a Special Time to Walk episode, an audio walking experience released today on Apple Fitness Plus and Apple Music One. While walking from Sandringham House to Anmer Hall, the Duke recalled attending the scene of an incident which involved a boy just a few years older than his firstborn Prince George. While he had not realized it in the immediate aftermath of the incident, the Duke noticed with the passing of time the stressful experience had remained with him. William said during the Apple Music broadcast, "I went home that night pretty upset but not noticeably. I wasn't in tears, but inside, I felt something had changed. I felt a real tension inside of me. It really hit me weeks later. It was like someone had put a key in a lock and opened it without me giving permission to do that. I felt like the whole world was dying. It's an extraordinary feeling. You just feel everyone's in pain, everyone's suffering. And that's not me. I've never felt that before." William said he could shake off the trauma thanks to the support provided by his workplace and colleagues. Opening up on how he moved on, he said, "I started to realize that, actually, you're taking home people's trauma, people's sadness, and it's affecting you. I was lucky enough that I had someone to talk to at work in the air ambulance because mental health where I was working was very important. Talking about those jobs definitely helped, sharing them with the team, and ultimately, in one case, meeting the family and the patient involved who made a recovery, albeit not a full recovery, but made a recovery." William has also shown his support for frontline workers during the pandemic. In April last year, at the peak of the first COVID infection wave, the Duke supported the launch of the 24/7 platform Our Frontline, which provides confidential help to key workers. Princess Beatrice and her husband Edoardo Mopelli Mozzi welcomed baby Sienna Elizabeth on September 19th. The couple had been living in St James's Palace since their wedding in July 2020 but reportedly relocated to the Cotswolds, shortly after the birth of their daughter. The eldest daughter of the Duke and Duchess of York will not only be able to count more privacy but also on the several relatives living nearby. According to Vanity Fair Italy, Beatrice and Edoardo settled on a $3 million property boasting a pool and tennis courts, as well as more privacy for their young daughters and Edo's young son Wolfie. In addition to the entrepreneur's parents living in the Cotswolds, the young couple can also count on the support of Princess Anne, who's based in Gatcombe Park in Gloucestershire. The Princess Royal's children, Zara Tyndall and Peter Phillips, also live on the property with their families. Prince Charles can also be found escaping to Gloucestershire with Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, to his beloved Highgrove, in Tetbury. Princess Beatrice, while not a working member of the royal family, is very active in supporting her charities and could maintain St James's Palace as her official working residence. She would not be the first member of the royal family to hold multiple residences. Princess Anne also has her work office at St James's Palace, although she spends the majority of her time in Gloucestershire. Prince Charles has his own official residence at Clarence House in London and will likely make Buckingham Palace his office once he succeeds the Queen. Prince William and Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, normally work from apartment 1A at Kensington Palace but are known to escape to their country pile in Norfolk, Anmer Hall, with their children. Beatrice previously shared her home with her younger sister Princess Eugenie, who moved to Prince Harry's home at Frogmore Cottage in Windsor following the birth of her son August Philip Hawke in February 2021. Princess Alexandra, a fraternal cousin to the Queen, also has a grace and favour apartment at St James's Palace. St James's Palace remains the official residence of the British monarch despite Queen Victoria moving the majority of her court to Buckingham Palace in 1837. The Queen's official royal court is still officially known as the Court of St James's, and all foreign ambassadors and diplomats are accredited by the court rather than the British government.